While Hollywood is often seen as the land of glitz, glamour, and dreams come true, it also has a darker side. The spotlight can expose not only the incredible talents of its stars, but also their deepest flaws. Over the years, some of the brightest names in the industry have fallen from grace and found themselves behind bars. Their stories are a sobering reminder that fame and fortune cannot shield anyone from the consequences of their actions. Here's an exploration of 30 Hollywood actors currently serving time in prison, unraveling the tales that led them to this low point in their lives. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. 1. Danny Masterson, from stardom to conviction. Danny Masterson was once a beloved figure in Hollywood, best known for his role as Stephen Hyde on the iconic sitcom That 70s Show. The show captured the zeitgeist of its era, and Masterson's witty, rebellious character became a fan favorite. Outside the screen, he seemed to embody the ideal of a successful and charming actor. However, his career came to a screeching halt when allegations of sexual assault surfaced in the mid-2010s. In 2021, Masterson was charged with forcibly raping 3 women in the early 2000s. The allegations were chilling, and as the trial unfolded, disturbing details emerged about the alleged assaults and how they were allegedly covered up by the Church of Scientology, of which Masterson was a prominent member. The church's influence in silencing victims and suppressing evidence became a central focus of the case. Masterson's conviction in 2023 was a landmark moment, marking the fall of a once revered actor. Sentenced to 30 years to life in prison, Masterson's fate serves as a stark warning about the consequences of abusing power and trust. His case also shed light on Hollywood's systemic issues regarding accountability and the protection of victims. 2. Allison Mack, a star ensnared in a cult. Allison Mack rose to fame as Chloe Sullivan on the hit television series Smallville. Her portrayal of the resourceful and loyal sidekick won her legions of fans, and she seemed poised for a successful career in Hollywood. Behind the scenes, however, Mack's life was taking a dark and unexpected turn. By the early 2010s, she had become deeply involved with NXIVM, a self-help organization that later gained infamy as a cult. Mack was not just a follower, but a high-ranking member within the organization. She played a pivotal role in recruiting women into NXIVM's secret subgroup DOS, which operated as a coercive sex cult under the leadership of founder Keith Raniere. Women were branded with Raniere's initials and subjected to degrading and abusive treatment. Mack's involvement, including her role in manipulating and blackmailing victims, came to light during an extensive federal investigation. In 2021, Mack was sentenced to 3 years in prison after pleading guilty to charges of racketeering and conspiracy. Her fall from grace is one of Hollywood's most shocking, illustrating how even the most promising careers can be derailed by misguided loyalties and a descent into moral darkness. 3. Lori Loughlin, the college admissions scandal. For decades, Lori Loughlin was a fixture in American households, known for her wholesome portrayal of Aunt Becky on Full House. She became synonymous with family values and integrity, making her eventual involvement in the college admissions scandal all the more shocking. In 2019, it was revealed that Loughlin and her husband, fashion designer Massimo Giannulli, had paid $500,000 in bribes to secure their daughter's admission to the University of Southern California as fake rowing recruits. Dubbed Operation Varsity Blues, the scandal exposed a vast network of wealthy individuals using bribes, fraud, and other unethical means to gain entry into prestigious universities for their children. Loughlin's participation in the scheme shattered her carefully cultivated public image. The fallout was swift. She was dropped from upcoming projects, faced public outrage, and was ultimately sentenced to 2 months in prison. Though her sentence was relatively short compared to others on this list, the scandal tarnished Loughlin's reputation permanently. It also highlighted issues of privilege and inequality in the education system, sparking a broader conversation about the lengths to which some will go to maintain their social status. 4. Mark Salling, a troubled legacy. Mark Salling, who rose to prominence as Noah Puck Puckerman on the hit TV series Glee, won fans worldwide with his portrayal of a complex yet lovable character. However, his career and reputation were destroyed when, in 2015, authorities uncovered a trove of exploitative materials on his electronic devices. The revelation shocked fans and colleagues, revealing a disturbing contrast between his public image and private actions. Startling later pleaded guilty to charges of possession of unlawful material and was awaiting sentencing when he tragically ended his life in 2018. While his death means he never served time in prison, his case highlights the devastating consequences of unchecked behavior and the hidden struggles within Hollywood's glittering facade. 5. Harvey Weinstein, the fall of a mogul. While not an actor in the traditional sense, Harvey Weinstein's influence as a producer made him one of the most powerful figures in Hollywood for decades. Weinstein was the driving force behind some of the industry's most iconic films, winning numerous awards and accolades. However, his career and reputation were obliterated when dozens of women came forward to accuse him of sexual harassment, assault, and rape, sparking the #MeToo movement. The allegations against Weinstein were staggering in their scale and severity, revealing a decades-long pattern of predatory behavior. Many of his victims were young actresses and aspiring professionals whom he lured with promises of career advancement. The stories painted a harrowing picture of an industry complicit in protecting powerful abusers. In 2020, Weinstein was convicted on charges of rape and sexual assault in New York and sentenced to 23 years in prison. He was later extradited to California to face additional charges and received further convictions in 2022. Weinstein's imprisonment marked a seismic shift in Hollywood, forcing the industry to confront its toxic culture and take steps toward reform. His story is one of the most infamous in entertainment history, illustrating the devastating impact of unchecked power and abuse. 6. Wesley Snipes, tax troubles and the price of fame. Wesley Snipes, an actor celebrated for his roles in films like Blade: White Men Can't Jump and New Jack City, was once at the pinnacle of action stardom. His martial arts skills and undeniable charisma made him a favorite among moviegoers. However, behind his on-screen successes, Snipes had a glaring financial issue that eventually landed him in federal prison: tax evasion. In 2008, Snipes was convicted on 3 misdemeanor counts for willfully failing to file tax returns between 1999 and 2001. Despite earning millions during this period, Snipes failed to pay approximately $7 million in taxes. His defense claimed that he was misled by dubious financial advisors who convinced him he was not legally obligated to pay taxes, but the court was unconvinced. In 2010, Snipes began serving a 3-year sentence at a federal correctional facility. While Snipes completed his sentence and returned to acting, including reprising his role as Blade in related projects, his incarceration marked a significant low point in his career. His story serves as a reminder of the consequences of financial mismanagement and the importance of abiding by the law, no matter how famous one becomes. 7. Felicity Huffman, a scandalous scheme. Felicity Huffman, an acclaimed actress best known for her role on the hit television series Desperate Housewives, stunned the world when she became embroiled in the college admissions scandal alongside Lori Loughlin. Unlike Loughlin's lengthier involvement, Huffman's actions in the scheme were more narrowly focused but no less illegal. She admitted to paying $15,000 to have her daughter's SAT scores fraudulently corrected to boost her chances of admission to a prestigious university. In 2019, Huffman pleaded guilty to charges of conspiracy to commit mail fraud and honest services fraud. During her trial, Huffman expressed deep remorse for her actions, stating that she was motivated by a misguided desire to help her child. Nevertheless, the court sentenced her to 14 days in prison, a $30,000 fine, and 250 hours of community service. Though her sentence was relatively short, Huffman's involvement in the scandal caused significant damage to her career and reputation. The incident reignited public discourse about privilege, systemic inequality, and corruption within elite institutions, with Huffman's case serving as a cautionary tale about the ethical boundaries that should never be crossed. 8. Robert Downey Jr., a troubled past. Before Robert Downey Jr. became synonymous with Iron Man and one of Hollywood's most beloved comeback stories, he endured a tumultuous period in his life marked by substance abuse and legal troubles. In the 1990s, Downey's career was skyrocketing, with critically acclaimed performances in films like Chaplin. However, his struggles with drug addiction were spiraling out of control, leading to a series of arrests and incarcerations. In 1996, Downey was arrested for possession of heroin, cocaine, and an unloaded .357 Magnum revolver. A year later, he violated his probation by missing a mandatory drug test and was sentenced to 6 months in the Los Angeles County Jail. His repeated legal troubles culminated in a 3-year prison sentence in 1999, although he served just over a year before being released on parole. Downey's time in prison marked a turning point in his life. After years of battling his demons, he found sobriety, rebuilt his career, and became a symbol of redemption in Hollywood. However, his time behind bars remains a sobering reminder of how even the most talented individuals can be brought down by addiction. 9. Michael Jace, a shocking crime of passion. Michael Jace was best known for his role as Officer Julian Lowe on the critically acclaimed series The Shield. With his commanding presence and nuanced performances, Jace seemed to be an actor destined for longevity in the industry. Tragically, his personal life took a devastating turn that not only ended his career, but led to one of the most horrifying crimes in recent Hollywood history. In 2014, Jace was arrested for the murder of his wife, April Jace, in their Los Angeles home. According to court records, Jace shot his wife multiple times in what prosecutors described as a premeditated act of violence stemming from marital discord. Their 2 young children were present in the home at the time of the murder, adding another layer of tragedy to the case. In 2016, Jace was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 40 years to life in prison. His shocking crime and subsequent conviction brought to light issues of domestic violence and the darker struggles that some actors face away from the limelight. 10. Bill Cosby, the disgraced icon. Bill Cosby, once hailed as America's dad for his beloved role on The Cosby Show, became one of the most reviled figures in entertainment after being accused of sexual assault by over 60 women. The allegations spanned decades, with stories of Cosby drugging and assaulting women emerging as far back as the 1960s. His actions, hidden for so long, painted a harrowing picture of abuse, power, and betrayal. In 2018, Cosby was convicted of aggravated indecent assault for drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constant, a former Temple University employee, at his home in 2004. He was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison. While Cosby was released in 2021 after his conviction was overturned on procedural grounds, the sheer magnitude of his crimes and the impact on his victims left an indelible stain on his once pristine legacy. Cosby's fall from grace is arguably one of the most dramatic in Hollywood history. Once a cultural icon and a trailblazer for black representation in entertainment, he became a symbol of betrayal and abuse. His case also became a watershed moment in the #MeToo movement, empowering survivors to speak out and hold powerful figures accountable. 1. Ezra Miller, a controversial descent. Ezra Miller, once a rising star known for their roles in The Flash and Fantastic Beasts, has become one of Hollywood's most controversial figures. While their career was initially defined by versatility and talent, recent years have seen Miller embroiled in a string of legal troubles and erratic behavior. Miller was arrested multiple times for charges ranging from disorderly conduct to assault. However, their most serious allegations involve accusations of grooming and abusing minors, which have led to criminal investigations and lawsuits. In 2023, Miller pleaded guilty to charges of burglary and faced additional accusations of harassment and intimidation. As the legal battles mounted, Miller's career stalled, and their once promising trajectory fell into disarray. Currently serving time in connection with one of these cases, Miller's story is one of squandered potential and a chilling example of how personal instability can derail a Hollywood career. Jared Fogle, from sandwich icon to imprisoned offender. Jared Fogle, recognized for his role in Subway commercials, became a well-known figure in the entertainment world despite not being a traditional actor. His story is a cautionary example of how fame can be misused for harmful purposes. Fogle was arrested in 2015 after federal authorities uncovered his involvement in harmful exploitation and inappropriate behavior involving minors. Fogle's actions were profoundly disturbing, including the possession and distribution of inappropriate materials, as well as traveling for unlawful activities involving minors. In 2015, he was sentenced to over 15 years in federal prison. His dramatic fall from grace left an indelible mark on his public image. Fogel's case serves as a stark reminder that even seemingly admirable public figures can hide deeply troubling behavior. Will Hayden, from reality TV star to convicted predator. Will Hayden rose to prominence as the star of Sons of Guns, a reality show focused on custom firearms. As the founder of Red Jacket Firearms, he was respected by firearm enthusiasts and television audiences alike. However, his career and reputation fell apart in 2014 when he was arrested on allegations of misconduct involving minors. The accusations against Hayden were devastating, with multiple individuals, including his own daughter, coming forward with claims of harm. In 2017, Hayden was convicted of aggravated misconduct and other serious offenses, receiving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. His actions not only ended his career but also led to widespread condemnation, leaving a legacy marred by betrayal and wrongdoing. 1-4. Lilo Brancato Jr. From stardom to prison bars, Lilo Brancato Jr. became a Hollywood sensation with his breakout role in the critically acclaimed film A Bronx Tale. He later gained further recognition for his appearances on The Sopranos. However, despite his early promise, Brancato's career was derailed by substance abuse and criminal behavior. In 2005, Brancato was involved in a botched burglary during which his accomplice shot and killed an off-duty police officer. While Brancato was not the gunman, he was charged with second-degree murder. In 2008, he was acquitted of the murder charge but found guilty of attempted burglary and sentenced to 10 years in prison. He was released on parole in 2013. Brancato's story is one of wasted potential and poor choices, showing how addiction and crime can destroy even the most promising careers. 1-5. Phil Spector, a legendary producer's heinous crime. While primarily known as a legendary music producer, Phil Spector's brief acting stints and larger-than-life persona also made him a notable figure in Hollywood. Spector revolutionized the music industry with his wall of sound production technique, working with some of the biggest names in music. However, his personal life was marred by instability, culminating in the murder of actress Lana Clarkson in 2003. Spector was convicted of second-degree murder in 2009 after years of legal battles and was sentenced to 19 years to life in prison. His trial was one of the most high-profile celebrity cases of the 2000s, shedding light on his history of erratic behavior and allegations of violence against women. While Spector passed away in 2021 while serving his sentence, his legacy remains overshadowed by his heinous crime. 1-6. Ricardo Medina Jr., from Power Ranger to convicted killer. Ricardo Medina Jr. was best known for his role as the Red Ranger in Power Rangers Wild Force, a series that captured the imaginations of children around the world. His career seemed to promise more opportunities in Hollywood, but his personal life took a dark and violent turn that would forever overshadow his on-screen legacy. In 2015, Medina was involved in a heated argument with his roommate Joshua Sutter at their shared apartment. The confrontation escalated, and Medina fatally stabbed Sutter with a sword he claimed was used in self-defense. However, the evidence painted a different picture, leading to his arrest and eventual conviction for voluntary manslaughter. In 2017, Medina was sentenced to 6 years in prison. His fall from a beloved children's television hero to a convicted killer left fans stunned, a grim reminder of how anger and violence can destroy lives in an instant. 1-7. Lane Garrison, a tragic accident. Lane Garrison was a rising star best known for his role as tweener on the hit television series Prison Break. While his career was on an upward trajectory, a tragic and avoidable incident derailed everything. In 2006, Garrison was involved in a car accident in Beverly Hills that resulted in the death of a 17-year-old passenger. Investigations revealed that Garrison had been drinking and was driving under the influence at the time of the crash. Garrison pleaded guilty to vehicular manslaughter, driving under the influence, and providing alcohol to minors. In 2007, he was sentenced to 40 months in prison, serving 2 years before being released on parole. The tragedy not only claimed a young life, but also brought Garrison's career to a screeching halt. His case serves as a haunting example of how one reckless decision can result in devastating consequences. 1-8. Kiefer Sutherland, A Battle with Alcohol. Kiefer Sutherland is best known for his iconic role as Jack Bauer, On the television series 24, a character synonymous with resilience and heroism. However, off-screen, Sutherland has faced his own battles, particularly with alcohol. In 2007, Sutherland was arrested for driving under the influence, his second DUI charge in a matter of years. Sutherland pleaded no contest and was sentenced to 48 days in jail. While his stint in prison was relatively short and he has since managed to rebuild his career, his incarceration highlighted the struggles he faced with alcohol and the personal challenges that even the most successful actors can experience. Unlike some others on this list, Sutherland's story is one of accountability and recovery, showing that setbacks don't have to define a person's legacy. 19. Tom Sizemore, a career marred by addiction and violence. Tom Sizemore was once a sought-after actor, delivering gripping performances in films like Saving Private Ryan, Heat, and Black Hawk Down. Despite his immense talent, Sizemore's career was repeatedly derailed by his struggles with substance abuse and his inability to stay out of legal trouble. In 2003, Sizemore was convicted of domestic violence against his girlfriend Heidi Fleiss, a high-profile case that brought his personal demons into the public eye. His behavior didn't improve after his conviction. In the years that followed, Sizemore faced multiple arrests for drug possession and probation violations. In 2005, he was sentenced to jail for failing multiple drug tests while on probation, a clear indication of his inability to break free from addiction. Sizemore's story is one of unfulfilled potential, as his criminal behavior and substance abuse overshadowed a once promising career. Despite attempts to recover and return to acting, his legacy remains tarnished by his troubled past. 20. Heather Locklear, spiraling out of control. Heather Locklear was a television icon in the 1980s and 1990s, starring in hit series like Melrose Place and Spin City. Her stunning looks and undeniable talent made her a household name. However, Locklear's personal struggles with mental health and substance abuse eventually led to her arrest and incarceration. In 2018, Locklear was arrested multiple times for incidents involving domestic violence and battery against police officers. The most serious charges stemmed from an incident where Locklear attacked officers responding to a domestic dispute at her home. Her erratic behavior and repeated run-ins with the law culminated in a court-mandated stay in a mental health facility, along with jail time for probation violations. While Locklear's story is deeply troubling, it also highlights the importance of addressing mental health issues. Her legal troubles and imprisonment brought attention to the struggles that many individuals face behind the glitz of fame and fortune. 21. Chris Brown, a history of violence. Chris Brown shot to fame as a music sensation, but his Hollywood crossover through acting in films like Stomp the Yard and Takers added another layer to his career. However, Brown's public image took a massive hit in 2009 when he was arrested for assaulting his then-girlfriend, pop superstar Rihanna. The graphic details and photos of the incident shocked the world, casting Brown in a deeply negative light. While Brown avoided jail time for this particular case, he faced subsequent legal issues, including probation violations. In 2014, Brown was sentenced to 131 days in jail after being kicked out of a court-ordered rehab facility and admitting to violating his probation. His legal troubles didn't stop there, with later accusations of assault and threats surfacing. Although Brown is not currently incarcerated, his history of violent and erratic behavior has permanently altered his public perception. 22. Shelley Malil, a brutal assault. Shelley Malil, known for his comedic role in The 40-Year-Old Virgin, shocked the world in 2008 when he was arrested for a brutal crime. Malil stabbed his former girlfriend, Kendra B., more than 20 times in what he claimed was a moment of blind rage and confusion during a confrontation at her home. Bibi survived the attack, but the injuries were severe, leaving her with lasting physical and emotional scars. Malil was convicted of attempted murder in 2010 and sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole. In 2018, he was granted parole, but the gravity of his crime remains a haunting reminder of how violence can shatter lives. His once promising career in Hollywood is now nothing more than a footnote to the horrific crime that defined him. 23. Charles S. Dutton, from convict to acclaimed actor. Charles S. Dutton's story is unique in that his prison time came before his Hollywood fame. As a teenager, Dutton was involved in a street fight that resulted in the death of another man. Convicted of manslaughter at the age of 17, Dutton was sentenced to years in prison. While serving his sentence, he was caught with a weapon, adding additional time to his incarceration. Dutton discovered his love for acting while in prison, eventually obtaining his GED and later enrolling in Yale's prestigious drama program upon his release. He went on to have a successful acting career with roles in Rock, Alien 3, and Menace the Two Society. While Dutton's story is one of redemption, it underscores the severe consequences of youthful violence and the possibility of turning a life around through determination and discipline. 24. Schuyler DeLeon, From Child Actor to Murderer. Schuyler DeLeon, a former child actor who appeared on the hit series Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, transitioned from a promising early career to committing one of the most shocking crimes in Hollywood history. DeLeon, along with accomplices, murdered Tom and Jackie Hawks in 2004 by tying them to an anchor and throwing them overboard while alive. The couple had been targeted for their yacht, which DeLeon sought to steal under the guise of purchasing it. The crime was premeditated, gruesome, and carried out with chilling precision. DeLeon was convicted of multiple charges, including first-degree murder, and sentenced to death in 2009. His case is one of the darkest tales to emerge from Hollywood, with a once promising actor descending into greed and unimaginable violence. 5. Ryan Grantham, A Heinous Act of Patricide. Ryan Grantham, a Canadian actor known for his appearances in films like Diary of a Wimpy Kid and television shows such as Riverdale, shocked the entertainment world with his horrifying crime. In 2020, Grantham was convicted of murdering his mother, Barbara Waite, in their home. Grantham shot her in the back of the head while she played the piano, an act he later described as premeditated. After the murder, Grantham reportedly planned a violent spree, including intentions to harm public figures, but he ultimately turned himself in to authorities. In 2022, Grantham was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for 14 years. His case is a grim reminder of how mental health struggles and internal turmoil can lead to devastating consequences, leaving behind a trail of shattered lives. 26. Dustin Diamond, From Saved by the Bell to Prison Walls. Dustin Diamond, best known for his role as Screech on the beloved sitcom Saved by the Bell, was a cultural icon for many growing up in the 1990s. However, after the series ended, Diamond struggled to transition his career into adulthood, and his off-screen life became increasingly troubled. In 2014, Diamond was involved in an altercation at a bar in Wisconsin during which he pulled out a knife and stabbed a man. He was arrested and charged with carrying a concealed weapon and disorderly conduct. In 2015, he was convicted and sentenced to 4 months in jail. While Diamond completed his sentence, his reputation and career were never the same. His story is a somber example of how fame at a young age can lead to difficulties later in life, including brushes with the law. 27. Robert Blake, Accused of Murder. Robert Blake was a celebrated actor with a career spanning decades, best known for his Emmy-winning performance in the television series Baretta. However, his acting accolades were overshadowed by a sensational criminal case that dominated headlines in the early 2000s. In 2001, Blake was accused of murdering his wife, Bonnie Lee Backley, who was shot dead in Blake's car outside a Los Angeles restaurant. Blake claimed he had left the car to retrieve a gun he had accidentally left inside the restaurant when the murder occurred. The prosecution painted a picture of a tumultuous relationship and alleged that Blake had orchestrated Backley's killing to free himself from her. Although he was acquitted of murder charges in 2005, he was found liable for her wrongful death in a civil case and ordered to pay $30 million. While Blake avoided criminal conviction, his career and public image were irreparably damaged, leaving him to live in the shadow of scandal. 28. Johnny Lewis, A Tragic Downward Spiral. Johnny Lewis, an actor known for his role as Kip Half-Sack Epps on the hit series Sons of Anarchy, seemed to have a promising future in Hollywood. However, his life took a dark and tragic turn due to mental health struggles and substance abuse. In 2012, Lewis was involved in a horrifying incident that shocked the entertainment world. Lewis brutally murdered his 81-year-old landlord, Catherine Davis, and her cat in a violent rampage before falling to his death from the roof of the property. Authorities speculated that Lewis was under the influence of drugs, but an autopsy later revealed no illicit substances in his system, pointing instead to severe mental instability. Although Lewis did not serve prison time due to his death during the incident, his case remains a harrowing example of how untreated mental health issues can lead to devastating outcomes. 29. Chris Tarrant Jr., A Family Feud Turned Violent. Chris Tarrant Jr., an actor with minor roles in films and television, made headlines in 2019 for a violent crime that shocked even those close to him. Tarrant was convicted of attempted murder after a domestic dispute with his father turned violent. During an argument, Tarrant stabbed his father multiple times, leaving him in critical condition. Although his father survived the attack, the incident left the family shattered. Tarrant was sentenced to 10 years in prison for the assault. His case exemplifies how deeply personal conflicts can escalate to criminal violence, highlighting the importance of addressing familial and psychological issues before they spiral out of control. 3-0. Todd Harrell, Rock Stardom and Deadly Consequences. While primarily known as the bassist for the rock band 3 Doors Down, Todd Harrell had also ventured into acting in minor roles. His fame from the band's success with hits like Kryptonite and Here Without You was overshadowed by a series of legal troubles stemming from substance abuse. In 2013, Harrell was arrested and charged with vehicular homicide after driving under the influence of drugs and causing a fatal crash. The victim, Paul Shoulders Jr., died at the scene. Harrell later pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 2 years in prison. His struggles with addiction continued after his release, leading to further arrests and legal issues. Harrell's case underscores the devastating impact of substance abuse and the irreversible consequences it can have on both the perpetrator and their victims. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on Hollywood actors facing jail time? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.